All right, I gotta say all this again. I'm so annoyed. But so here's what I think is going on with existence. So, like as far as my arm can reach, right? Let's say that our perception, our comprehension can only go that far. Like our comprehension can only go as far as our arms can reach. And outside of our arms reach, life is just happening. We don't know what it is. Anything is possible, right? And so, what I think goes on is with that state of fluidity, in which anything could be occurring just outside of our point of view, that whenever you think something bad is happening or can be happening, or you're afraid that something bad is happening, and you reach for that more than you reach for something good happening, the bad thing's going to happen anyway. And this is because even if you got the good thing, your fear of the bad thing and therefore trying to grip the bad thing so that it can't happen on you means that you're breaking the good thing and molding it into the bad thing anyway. State of fluidity. Outside of your comprehension, anything can occur. A lot of existence is outside of your comprehension. Anything can occur. And your willingness to accept occurrence is what makes what's happening to you and around you possible. Now, there are some arguments, really, really specific arguments, like, no, things are set in stone, they're just happening. What I'm doing right now is what I'm doing, and what you're doing right now is what you're doing, whether we know it or not. Whether I know what you're doing, you're still doing what you did, and I'm still doing what I did. And it's like, technically, we don't know that that's true. We don't know that until we have the intention to genuinely interact with each other, that our lives are completely different things. Maybe whenever the closer that we get, the more sense we have to make to each other, and thus the harder our actions become. The closer we are to interacting with one another, the more that our actions are permanent towards one another. But perhaps the less that we are close to interacting with one another, the further away we are from interacting with one another, the less solid our actions become towards one another. And therefore, that state of fluidity is still there. There's no way of proving it without having the intention to interact. And this can be accounted for. How many times have you felt that sense of being confident this time that it doesn't make sense for something bad to happen and then something good happens? Whereas you know that there were times whenever you were like, even though I know I'm right and something good should happen, I'm still afraid something bad's going to happen. The bad thing still happened out of that fear. How many times have you felt like there were times where you could have just gotten something good there and there was no reason for you not to, except for the fact that you couldn't accept it for some reason? How many times does that happen? So another thing, this is the one that was important. I was on Roblox earlier. I was playing Mic'd Up. And Mic'd Up is just like you get on the server, you talk to people on a little map. There's like a bunch of different things to do around the map, right? And one of the things you can do, you can get on this like stage and like talk to people. And I was like by myself, like everybody was doing their own thing. I was trying to do this fucking impression, bro. It's so fucking funny, bro. It is so fucking funny, bro. I'm not gonna do it here. I need to practice it. But I got on the stage and I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. Like whenever I'm like sitting up here and I'm like talking to nobody, but I'm still doing it, this makes an audience. This makes audience. If I'm not expecting to talk to an audience, if I'm not talking to an audience before anyone's sitting in it, and even before anyone's taking the place of an audience member, there is no audience. In a way, what I'm doing is creating the logical, tangible structure for there to be an audience for me in the first place. And so you hear these stories about how Tyler, the Creator, used to throw concerts in his basement or something, and it's like, oh shit, that makes sense. The more that he was willing to perform, the more that he was willing to perform to nobody, the more seats that he created in his own specific audience. And then you think about that. Oh, I need to say this shit because this shit pissed me off. Okay, so I'm fucking playing. Like, y'all are too obvious. Y'all keep comparing me to fucking Steve Lacy. You keep comparing me to Tyler, the Creator. You keep comparing me to fucking what's his face, Daniel Caesar. And then y'all be trying to call it jealousy when I get pissed off. But y'all niggas be breaking my fucking music while I'm making it. Like, y'all niggas don't be giving me no space to actually make my music. How about you fucking wait till I can actually make a song without anybody tripping me and fucking it up because they want to make a point? You know, y'all be fucking so busy trying to compare me to all these other fucking artists. Nigga, if you would give me real fucking space, not fucking, I don't want to be wrong, I don't want you to make a good song space. I mean, give me real fucking space. You'll find out that my music is so good, you don't want to compare it to any other fucking artist. But y'all don't want to make it to that point because y'all want to play dumbass games. All right. So I'm on the stage and I'm talking to nobody. And I'm literally saying, I realize, like, some might say that this is like a hack. It takes the value away from what I'm doing. Like I'm not passionate because I found a little hack. If I keep doing this, then it'll happen for me anyway. And it's like, no, that is passion. Because as much as I care about making music and I care about making art, I also care about not doing anything wrong. I care about not wasting my life. So this is a very fair thing to figure out. To make myself comfortable enough to get to that point where I can just exist without being disturbed and make art. That's a real thing to do. And so I'm not taking the value away by figuring something out like that. But I'm up there and I'm like, yo, this is what this is. My audience only exists as much as I make it exist. And so if I'm not willing to sit there and talk to my audience when there's nobody taking its place, there is no audience. Kids come over. This little kid, and I was hanging out with them earlier. We were singing songs, and they keep singing the same song over and over. But they come over and they're all like, sing a song. So I sing Crazy, right? And then they get up there and they start singing, and they brought like other kids. And I need to say this. I was playing with like an 18-year-old that has their own apartment earlier. So just chill out, because what I'm going to say is really important. So what I realized is in that moment, that's kind of what I was missing. When all the kids came over, I wanted to walk away. I was like, this isn't fun anymore. In fact, when I was talking about how talking to nobody is creating my audience, I wasn't willing for a moment to keep doing that when there were kids in the audience, when there were kids watching me. And it was kind of like this whole, well, that's not interesting. They can't keep up with me. There's no point to that, right? And I realized in this weird way that like that's something that's corrupting my audience in the first place, because I'm not willing to let my audience be kids. I'm not willing to let my audience be children. And you know what that does? That makes my audience a superficial lot. That means that they're paying less attention to what I'm actually doing and looking more at the numbers, how many likes it has, how successful I am. But you know what I noticed about these kids is that whenever they got up on the stage and started singing, they weren't concerned about likes. They weren't concerned about superficiality. They just wanted to have a good time. They just wanted to sing. And somehow that's what's missing from my audience, from my expectation of the audience, is that I walked away for a moment because it was just kids. And then I came back and I sung with them, and I watched them sing, and they kept going. They were just having a good time. And that's something that I almost walked away from and didn't allow to be in my own audience. That's something that I almost said, this isn't worth it anymore, and walked away from. What else is there? This is the toughest thing to say, bro. I hate this one, bro. This is impossible. It's not impossible. I said it perfect earlier. I hate this, bro. But, nah, I won't say that. I need to work on that one. What else was there? Oh, yeah. But combining these couple of facts, right? Somebody's all like, so you're saying that if I just keep talking to nobody, that eventually people will start listening? That if I keep talking to nobody, it'll actually make some, you're a bitch. If you're listening to anything I'm saying like that, and that's your fucking attitude, you're already a bitch. You're already gonna fuck it up somehow, and you're gonna call it unfair. What I'm saying is, there's no point to making art. There's no point to making music. There's no point to doing anything that you actually want to do if you're not willing to keep doing it without an audience. And if you want an audience, you've got to make one. I don't want to say this, but it's like, let's say this. Let's say somebody else goes around and they imagine, they keep it to themselves. They imagine throwing concerts, everybody being there. Oh, we love him. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. That means that whenever that's happening to him, he's not going to have an aneurysm. He's not going to be like, whoa, what the hell? My brain can't accept this. My brain cannot accept all these people loving me at the same time. You want to know why he can accept that? Because he practiced it, because he believed in it, because he kept going. He kept on his own. He could accept that nobody loved him and that was still real. He could accept that there was nobody in his audience, but that his audience still loved him, and that was real. That was a real thing. And that somehow makes it easier not only to accept, but to happen. It's amazing, man. So amazing. And I don't want to like teach this as like a little hack. Like, everybody go talk to yourselves. Everyone go talk to yourselves. This is how you get famous. But it's just like it's another show of like the kind of dedication and the kind of passion that you have to put into this, not just to be successful, but to enjoy it. Not just to be successful, but to enjoy it. And you know, me as I am right now, I cringe at the idea of everyone just loving me no matter what I do, because that scares me. That's a scary idea. My fears are that I'll go crazy with power. I'll go unchecked. People will make me too uncomfortable. People will make me too comfortable, and I'll stop policing myself. That's my fear. And so I'm always kind of disturbing it, kind of breaking it. People tell me they love me. People tell me they're my friend. And I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Because I'm not letting you do that shit to me. I'm not letting you get in my head like that, right? And it's made me realize this thing about too good to be truism. I fucking hate that so much because as I'm looking at life and the fact that it's possible, I'm looking at things are too bad to be real right now. Too good to be true is actually true. Like, too good to be true is actually real. I hate to say that, but too good to be true is legitimately real. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Too good to be true is legitimately real. And I know that I've got to work to accept too good to be true into my reality. Now, of course, I'm saying this and I'm sharing it publicly, and I'm sharing it with other people who have their opinions about it and will thus observe and affect my journey through this. But I'll say I trust it. It'll all be good. It'll all be okay. And they'll call me a dumbass. And they'll be like, you're fucking stupid. You need to accept life. That shit's gonna go wrong. It's gonna go horrible. And as they're doing that, there's a conflict between my reality and their reality and the shared experience. It's just them fucking, if things become too good for me, they become jealous. Now they're the problems that they said I was gonna have. Or because I can't prove it to them, things never become too good to be true for me. And they're right anyway. It's fucked up, but that's what this is. This is the pattern. I'm also being disturbed by a couple of other ideas, but they already know that I don't deserve to do that. That's like the whole point now. It's like, I don't get these people. Like, their whole point is like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, they want to torture me, but it's not because I deserve it. It's not because I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. It's because they're upset, and that's not valid. And they can keep saying, well, we believe no matter what you say. And it's like, well, obviously you don't, because you can't just move on. Obviously you don't. If you believed it, you'd let me live my life. What the fuck? Like, if you believed it, everything's good, right? But no, they're all like, we don't need to make sense anymore. There doesn't need to be any logic to justify it. And it's like, well, why did you spend all those years arguing up until you lost the argument? What was that for then? Like, whatever, dude. But now they're just like torturing me. They're like, it's like a fucking pettiness. That is what being petty is, isn't it? That's pettiness. That's like you were wrong. You lost the argument. The person got what they wanted, and you're still just fucking throwing shit at them. Like, that's weird, bro. That's fucking weird as fuck. Oh, all right. But anyway, like, it's just like, I'm looking at this, and now I'm fully of the belief of having an audience that completely loves me without being afraid that it's gonna go to my head, without being afraid that I'm gonna fucking like treat people with no respect because I think I'm better than them one day. That's something that I was afraid of. That's something that I think has been holding me back my entire life, my entire career. And we can argue about me having a career and whatnot, but you know that you saying I don't have a career is what ultimately decides whether or not I do. And I decided I have a career. I've been doing enough. I've been going all around. I've been trying many things, and I've even caught the comprehension structures that are breaking my ability to actually make art. I'm not talking about make art that is all these people are watching me, I need to make something they all like. I'm talking about making art that is, what do I do when nobody's watching me? Because that's life. Like I said, that's life. When nobody's watching you, that's life. When you're the only one that's observing your situation, that's when you're just alive. That's when it has nothing to do with what anyone else thinks. That's when you make art. That's art. What is that? What are you doing there? When you're not trying to impress anybody, when you're trying to make yourself feel good, and sometimes when you're not even trying to impress yourself, that's art. That's what art is. But no, you try to make art today, everyone's all like, you need to make a song that sounds like this. They fucking play Daniel Caesar, and I don't fucking hate Daniel Caesar, but I hate the fact that they put that shit on and broke my fucking art, and I wasn't even done making it yet. I wasn't even fucking done. They broke my art and put on Tyler, the Creator. I wasn't even done yet. And you're fucking it up now. Now I can't make anything without thinking about that. You just completely fucked up what I was doing, bro. Stop. The fuck, man. Pisses me off, man. It really does. They're all like, we want to compare you to these guys, but they don't want it. They don't want me to actually be me before they compare me. They want to break it up and say, no, it's impossible. He can't be anything other than this. And it's like, the fuck are you guys in art for? What do you make art? What are you in art for? Like, what do you do art for? Like, what the fuck is this shit right here, bro? But yeah. I have a lot of faith in myself, and I've been kind of dangling at this edge for a while. They're edging me, non-sexually. Like, it's crazy how many definitions but they're edging me. They're constantly keeping me at this edge of like, your life could go wrong any second now, and all that shit you believe isn't gonna fucking matter anymore. That's what this shit is. I hate religious prosecution, bro. That shit pissed me. Oh, is it persecution? No, it's prosecution. No, persecution? No, it's prosecution. Fuck it. I hate this. I hate this shit, bro. This constant, like, you still believe what you believe? What if we let you go right now? What if we all just decided to do the wrong thing? Your God's gonna protect you, right? What you believe's gonna protect you, right? And all that bullshit, bro. I hate that shit so fucking much, bro. So annoying. And then at the end, they just try to be like, all right, you were right, but if you don't fucking make life good for us, we're gonna fucking kill you anyway. And it's like, what the fuck? You can't do that. The fuck, man? I hate this, bro. Oh. Attack. Someone doesn't want to hear this. Don't watch the fucking video. But yeah. And so what I imagine is going to happen is that as I move forward into this, so the concept and the memory, the physical memories that we have of like all my old music, they're actually going to change and evolve as our perception of everything evolves, to the point where we might even hear my music saying new things. Now the issue is there's some assholes out there who might try to be sneaky and do something like edit the songs, hack into my account, edit the songs, and then call us all dumbasses for being like, oh my God, it actually changed. Oh my gosh. And that person's a dumbass, because what we're talking about has been studied and observed enough to actually have a valid investigation. This is valid evidence for investigation. And disturbing that investigation is only indicative of you being ignorant and afraid of what's possible. And thus, the way that you try to make us look stupid by pulling those kind of pranks actually shows how stupid you are and how much you're avoiding that. But we're at that point where I think I'm changing a mass perception enough that it might completely change not only how my old music is sounded, but give me new space and new room to not only make music, but finally fucking make movies, bro. Finally fucking make movies, man. Oh, I'm gonna get too fucking old. Oh, I'm not gonna get too old. I know what this is. This is another one of those too good to be true things I gotta fix. But no, this is just too bad to be real. But yeah, that's what I'm noticing. Even if good things are happening around you, if you don't accept them, they happen until they get to you. That's a fact. It's a fact. Okay? So, obviously, life is literally what you make it. And you're not an asshole for making life good for you. The conditions we think of somebody being an asshole in are the conditions where life is limited and there's only so much room, and how come you get to have it and everyone else doesn't? Oh my gosh, all that shit, right? It's like life is infinite. That's a thing. Life is fucking infinite. That's literally a thing. It can't exist if it's not. It doesn't make sense for it to exist. And there's also fluidity of occurrence, and that there are so many people that you don't know that other people don't know. In fact, there might be people literally just rendering into existence right now for out of nowhere, and we just hold on to the idea that they were born. That's a real fucking thing that could be going on. And we think it's crazy, it doesn't make any sense. But as we move further into realizing some of this shit just isn't possible based on what's happening, that shit becomes more logical than any of the physiological holds that you have maintaining the structures of your behavior. And so infinity is infinity. I'm dealing with a girl right now, a fucking YouTuber, who's like always fucking falling into concept with me. Like I do something and then she says or does something that I'm like, bro, that's literally, you're interacting with me you're interacting with me right here, but like from a distance. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you're talking about this today. I was just dealing with that earlier today. I fucking did this, and now you're bringing this up over here. Why are you doing that? What is this? And it's like one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm a concept. This is real. And that might just be a concept coming to exist. That might just be like a person conceptualizing, responding to me. And this is one of those things of like actually being in your own reality, right? Where you get to do whatever you want is impossible to accept when you still feel like you're doing something wrong when everybody around you is doing what you want at the same time that they're doing what they want. And that's the fear. The fear is that in order for you to get that, other people have to be doing what you want while not wanting to do it. But it's actually possible and real for people to be doing what you want and want to do it. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. You're not an asshole for that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I genuinely think that it's more rational not to start life from birth, but to start life from what could be hosting anything happening in the first place. And that all those old arguments that we use will literally abandon, and it'll change what's physically been happening this whole time. I'm serious. I think that's what all this is. So yeah. And like, bro, see this is what I mean. This is what I mean right here, bro. That was like related. I shouldn't have said that, but that was like related, like, bro. And it was like, it's been on the spot. I think this, she responds to it the next day. I think this, she responds to it the next day. And it's like, what is that? I say these things, she responds to them the next day. And it's like, what is that, dude? What are you doing? But that's crazy, because I'm not falling for that. Well, they're too good to be true. That's too bad to be real. I hate this, man. Anyway, it's just like, I'm famous. Obviously, I'm famous. Look, given that it doesn't matter and there's no solid state of occurrence, like, here's what I think. I think there's like 4 guys that are observing me. I think there's 4 guys that are observing me that like notice that when they're not observing me, I end up just getting into really good situations, and they're fucking pissed off because they're like, it doesn't fucking make any sense. How did you get into that? No, I can't. And what happened is that they just started fucking stalking me, right? And now, because they're observing me and stalking me, now a couple of things. They will never accept things going good for me without immediately saying, it doesn't make any sense, that's all gonna go wrong. And B, because of how they think that the only way things can go good for me is if I'm a predator who's manipulating people. And so they won't ever accept it if I'm not a predator, or if it doesn't make me look like I'm a bad guy when it's happening. And that when these guys stop looking at me, which they will, I've already beat them, which they will see me end up in another position that their understanding couldn't justify and couldn't explain, but without their observation, I made it there just fine. And they'll accept finally, oh my gosh, he isn't manipulative, he's literally just fucking living life. And all these things that used to make me mad and jealous, instead of fucking killing me, I do kind of want to kill you, but he taught me, oh my gosh, oh my God, what the fuck? And then, but you know them, they'll probably just be like, and if it wasn't for the grace of God, I would have never figured out how to live life. If it wasn't, thank God. Fucking hate those people, bro. But yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty much everything. Oh, sex. I gotta talk about sex here. Because this is the hardest fucking part, but this is the part that makes me so uncomfortable. It's impossible to say. So I was talking about how removing, oh, fuck, that's hard, bro. That's too hard, bro. It should be said that the more I discuss this, the more that I fear sounding like a pedophile as a result, but I think there's a very valid idea, a very valid structure of thinking in this, that it is worth the risk of sounding like a pedophile in order to get there. Because once I'm there, you'll understand it and you'll value it. So as I said with the audience, when the audience was just children, I walked away. I was not willing to respect or take seriously their childishness, the fact that they were kids, that they weren't adults, that they didn't care, that they didn't have social observation, that they weren't keeping track of all the laws that I think are important. But by watching those kids do their own thing, I realized that's what my audience is missing. Without that, my audience becomes corrupt. If my videos don't have enough views, they don't watch them. If my songs don't sound like something else, they don't listen. If somebody else doesn't say they like me, they don't like me. And so it's sex. I think that I'm also missing that childishness, that lack of superficiality. Not to be immature, but to be free of that social thinking, to be free of superficiality. I'm trying to say it in a more poetic way. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to act like kids, but I'm saying that part of us that is a child, that part of us that still gets excited over childish things, the part of us that goes, ooh, ice cream, the part of us that still does that part needs to be taken care of. Our parents raise us as kids until we're able to take care of ourselves. And that doesn't mean abandoning that part of you that's still a kid. That's still a layer of who you are. And when you get rid of that, you lose track of something. You lose track of something that's actually happening, and it sends you in the corrupt ways of thinking. Oh. I'm gonna kill people. I'll just fight this. I'm gonna kill people. I mean, if you try to make me a pedophile here, I'll just kill people. And I literally mean that. Like I'll physically kill somebody. I feel that way about this, and I'll do it randomly because you niggas know what you're doing here. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? That's the second fucking time. Okay. But yeah, I want to be able to say it better, but it's like, okay, so those kids, they're up on that stage and they're singing and they're just having a good time, meaning that they're not worried about how it looks. They're not worried about what so-and-so is going to say about them. They're not even thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Is this who I really am? They're not doing any of that. They're like, hey, I'm having a good time. I want to have a good time. That's what I'm doing. Who cares? Right? And that's what's missing from sex. That's what's missing from sex. And it's not about kids. It's not about kids. It's about that inhibition. It's about that. Whenever a child is scolded, they become afraid of being scolded again, and it changes the way they act. Whenever other kids bully a child, they become afraid of being bullied or outcasted again, and it changes how they act. Now the child doesn't just enjoy life for themselves, they enjoy life so that others can also approve of them. Superficiality. before superficiality, before we care about what others think, that happiness that's there, that entertainment, that curiosity, that real living with your own existence. Without that, sex becomes disgusting. Without that, sex becomes nasty. Sex becomes horrible. It's a competition. It's about social. It's about power. It's about all that dumb shit. Can't even enjoy it anymore. You work so hard to get it, and when you have it, it just doesn't fucking feel good. I'm serious. I'll fucking kill people. I'm not fucking joking. You know, keep this shit in full context. I'm not playing, bro. Okay. Holy shit, man. Yeah, I think I said everything. All right. I gotta clean.